So I'm pretty on point, I feel like, with the comments today.
Yes, you are. And you just made another really good, even subliminal comment of you're not for everyone, but you can be for everyone. It goes back to being relatable.
It does. Well, it's true, because that's the whole premise of the book I don't want anybody to be somebody other than they are.
Yep.
Like, I want you to be your authentic self. I want you to just show up the way you want to show up, whatever it is. I'm not going to judge. But the thing is, just be you. Be your best you and be you. But that does not give you the right to judge other people. And I feel like the comparison game, we've done an episode on the comparison game before. Yeah. The comparison game is where we all get a little wonky. It's where that's what's happened is she would have been fine had she not compared herself to anybody else.
Exactly.
Or had she not, made, and all right, so kindness and avoiding the comparison game. Had Rachel not compared herself to Harriet Tubman or Oprah Winfrey or Frida, whoever, anybody, had she not compared herself, that would have got her out of trouble.
Yes.
But the other thing is kindness. And I'm not saying she's unkind, but if you have a housekeeper or somebody that comes, ask them what they want to be. I'm going to guess they don't want to be called the lady that cleans my toilets.
Yep.
If they do, cool. And if that's what the person that said, call me that, then great. She had every right to say that. But, you've got to be kind in how you're showing up for other people and how you're treating them and how you refer to them.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, those two, it seems so simple, but you're right. Those 2 points, and we wouldn't be having this podcast this morning about this particular topic because I just don't think she would have gotten as much backlash. And
I hate that because, this is the thing we all have to remember. And obviously, Rachel has a very large platform. But the thing we all have to remember is everything we're doing now and saying and everything it's not all recorded, but a lot of it is because we're putting it out there. I mean, I put stuff out there all the time. And do people misinterpret things? For sure. Absolutely. And, I try to apologize if they do. But it's, that was the premise of her book is girls stop apologizing. Well, the book meant stop apologizing for being you. That was the whole premise. That's what the book is about. Don't apologize for being you. But girl had to start apologizing because she offended some people. And if you offend somebody or you do something wrong, then it is time to say, okay, I wasn't as kind as I could have been, or I didn't show up the way I should have. Yep. And make some amends.
I mean, the other thing, too, is, and it feels like something we should know at this point, but she deleted the video, but that on her accounts, but of course it was too late. People had already saved it.
You can't delete things.
You can't. And so you have to remember what you say today, when I'm 34 is going to impact me possibly when I'm 64.
Yes.
What you young students are doing in your 20s that you're posting, as an employer, I'm going to go on and look at that in your, when you're 25 and when you're 30 and when you're applying here, and I'm going to go take a look at it. So it's also making sure, and this as much as a personal thing as it is a marketing thing, don't say something today that's going to negate your future.
Yeah. Absolutely. So just be nice.
Yeah.
It should be really that simple. Because, for my age, people in their 40s, 50s that did not grow up with social media or iPhones with cameras, we got away with a lot of stuff.
Right, yes.
And so we just seem to think that we can still get away with it. I would hate to, and I've said this before, I would hate to be growing up right now. I really would. I really would. And we actually Matt and I talked about doing an episode on this, on kids, on would you have kids today? Because that may be one we do in the future, but because we had that conversation, it's scary growing up today. Like all the bonehead things we did growing up, they weren't captured on social.
Right.
All the comments I made about people, whether they slipped out or whether I made them intentionally or whatever, they weren't broadcast for everybody to see. Right. So we've got to assume that everything is under scrutiny right now.
Well, it's also,
they're tracking us. Y'all know that, right?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. And it's like the thing where you're talking about shoes, and now my phone is right here, so it's listening, and I will see shoe ads for the next 2 or 3 days. Mm-hmm. It's also hard to fight an enemy that is anonymous, which is what.
Ooh. Boom. Okay.
That's a lot of what's happening too.
Dropping
Yes.
bombs out here.
No.
But
Whitney, the fourth is with you today.
is with me. Thank you. So one, you said this earlier, Kristen. The commenter to Rachel does not know Rachel. We do not know Rachel.
Correct.
Vice versa to Rachel and the commenter.
Right.
There's also bogus accounts out. Like I'm thinking about having kids in this current time. There's bogus accounts out there where people are commenting and sending messages and making threats, and we didn't. You didn't have that.
Yep.
Pre-Facebook. What? The worst you could do is call.
Yep.
Say something in the, as your refrigerator running and hang up. And even then I could *69.
I remember *69. You could see who called. Well, now, I've
call
just
them
said
back.
they are tracking. I know, it's so scary. Like, they know where we are. They know, like, all this stuff. And so we've got the tracking, and we've got people making comments that we don't know. I mean, it's anonymous. It's a world where everything is anonymous but us. People know who we are, meaning like the stuff you put out there isn't anonymous. And that's important. That's so hard to teach teenagers these days now. Like my youngest is like, I want to get social media. I'm like, oh, no. Because, I mean, seriously. And I've seen younger kids. I've seen kids like that are younger than mine, like 12, 13, get on social. And I'm like, oh, no, you shouldn't be posting this. And it's so hard to teach them because it is. We think we're anonymous and we're not.
Yeah.
But then the people commenting and people that can say, my 16-year-old gets DMs from random strangers.
Yep.
And it's, and these are like 30 and 40-year-old men. Now, she doesn't respond and, she's very mature. But you guys, everybody thinks they can do anything because they're hiding behind the screen. And, like I said, I'm not faulting Rachel. I'm not faulting the commenter. It's more just, it's the discussion around it is like, you've got to understand that all of us are going to slip up and say something. Good Lord, the fact I haven't been, actually I have. I've slipped up and said stuff that I received feedback for. And, if I screwed up and said something wrong, I apologize.
Yeah.